On a cold October night in Portland, Oregon, inside a hospital that no longer exists, something happened in room 407 that the staff of Ridgewood Memorial Hospital would never forget. This story is based on testimonies from nurses, doctors, and night staff who worked there before the hospital closed in 2009, and almost all of them agree on one thing: room 407 was never truly empty. It started with nurse Karen Holloway. Karen had worked the night shift for 11 years. She had seen death. She had seen miracles. She was not a woman who scared easily. But on October 14, 2004, something felt wrong the moment she stepped onto the 4th floor. The pediatric ward was quiet, too quiet. At the end of the hallway sat room 407. 3 weeks earlier, the last patient in that room had died, a 7-year-old boy named Daniel Marsh. Daniel had been admitted with bacterial meningitis. Within 3 days, he was gone. Karen remembered him well. Big brown eyes, a gap between his teeth, and a strange little habit. Daniel loved drawing rockets. He drew them on every napkin the hospital cafeteria sent with his meals. But tonight, room 407 was supposed to be empty. Karen walked down the hallway and pushed open the fire door that separated the corridor. The lights beyond it were off. That was the first strange thing. The second thing made her stop walking. The floor outside room 407 was wet. Not like someone spilled water.
Not like someone mopped. The rest of the hallway was completely dry. Only this spot. And inside the moisture, Karen saw something that made the back of her neck go cold. Footprints. Small, bare, child-sized footprints. They began at the door of room 407 and led slowly down the hallway toward the window at the end. Karen followed them carefully, step by step. The prints stopped directly under the window. The window was closed, locked from the inside, and there was nowhere else the footprints could go. That was the first report. The second came from a night orderly named Marcus Webb. Marcus didn't believe in ghosts. He told everyone that. Hospitals were full of strange sounds, he said. Old pipes, air vents, machines, nothing supernatural. But every night around 2 a.m., he heard something strange outside room 407. A sound, soft, quiet, almost like a child humming to himself. At first, Marcus ignored it. Then it kept happening, every night.
Finally, on November 9th, Marcus opened the door. Room 407 was empty, just like it had been for weeks. The bed was stripped. The chair against the wall was folded. Only the dim orange light from the city came through the curtains. But something inside the room had changed. Marcus walked slowly to the window, and that's when he saw them. 6 napkins, perfectly lined up on the windowsill. Each one had a drawing on it. Rockets, childish rockets drawn in black ink. Marcus froze. He knew for a fact those napkins had not been there earlier that night. He had cleaned the room himself. Hand shaking, Marcus picked one up. At the bottom of the drawing were 2 words written in uneven letters: "Don't go." Months later, another strange story surfaced, this time from Dr. Alan Reeves, the doctor who had pronounced Daniel Marsh dead. For weeks after the boy died, Dr. Reeves couldn't sleep. Not because of grief, because of something he saw the night Daniel died. At exactly 3:17 a.m., Daniel's heart monitor had flatlined. Dr. Reeves stepped into the hallway after speaking to the parents. He leaned against the wall, closed his eyes, and took a breath. When he opened them, Daniel was standing at the end of the corridor. Not sick, not pale, just a small boy in a blue hospital gown, bare feet on the floor, looking confused,
like a child who had gotten lost somewhere. Dr. Reeves blinked, and Daniel was gone. Years later, a security guard described seeing the same boy standing in the window of room 407 at exactly 3 a.m. The nurses ran upstairs to check. The room was empty, but the napkins were still on the windowsill. More rockets had been added. The final story came from Daniel's mother. Sandra Marsh returned to the hospital once, 4 months after her son died. She asked to sit in room 407 one last time. She sat beside the empty bed quietly. Almost an hour passed. Then suddenly, she felt the air change, like someone had entered the room. She looked up. No one was there. But the chair across from her had moved. It now sat directly in front of her, as if someone small had dragged it there to sit with her. Sandra stared at the empty chair and whispered softly, "Hi, baby." For a moment, the room became cold, then warm again, then silent. Sandra left the hospital shortly after. She later said she believed her son had finally said goodbye. Sightings on the 4th floor continued for years. A small figure seen through a window, a child laughing in an empty hallway, new rocket drawings appearing on napkins in room 407, until Ridgewood Memorial Hospital finally closed in 2009. Today, the building is apartments. The 4th floor was completely renovated. Workers reported nothing unusual, no sounds, no shadows, no footprints. Whatever had been there was already gone. But Marcus Webb still keeps one of Daniel's rocket napkins in his wallet. He says he doesn't know why. He just knows one thing. It doesn't feel right to throw it away. But the story of room 407 didn't end when Ridgewood Memorial Hospital closed. At least, that's what some people believe. Because in the summer of 2012, 3 years after the hospital shut down, something strange began happening again inside the building. By that time, the old hospital had already been sold to a real estate company. The plan was simple: renovate the building, turn it into luxury apartments. Construction crews began gutting the interior floor by floor. Everything was being removed: old beds, medical equipment, walls, even the old flooring. When the workers reached the 4th floor, most of them thought it would just be another empty section of the building. But the foreman noticed something odd immediately. Room 407 was still locked. Every other room on the floor had already been cleared months earlier, but the door to 407 remained sealed with an old maintenance chain. No one remembered putting it there. The foreman cut the chain. The door opened slowly. Inside, the room looked exactly the same as it had years earlier. The old hospital bed frame was still there, the folding chair still leaned against the wall, and on the windowsill, something that made one of the workers step back immediately: napkins. 7 of them, all carefully lined up, each one with a rocket drawn on it. The workers laughed at first. Someone must have left them there as a joke. But the problem was simple. No one had been inside the building for nearly 8 months. Dust covered everything, except the napkins. They were perfectly clean, as if someone had placed them there recently. One of the younger workers picked one up. At the bottom of the drawing, written in small, uneven letters, were 4 words: "I'm still here, Mom." The crew didn't stay in the room long after that. The foreman ordered everything cleared out immediately. The napkins were thrown away, the windowsill wiped clean, the room demolished along with the rest of the 4th floor. Within a year, the old hospital had been completely transformed. New walls, new lighting, new apartments. Room 407 technically no longer existed, but sometimes buildings remember things that people try to erase. In 2015, a young couple moved into an apartment located roughly where the old pediatric wing had once been, apartment 4E. Their names were Lucas and Emily Carter. At first, everything was normal, until Emily started waking up around the same time every night, 3:17 a.m. Always the same time, always the same strange feeling, like someone small was standing in the hallway outside their bedroom, watching. One night, she finally opened the door. The hallway was empty, but the kitchen light was on. Lucas had definitely turned it off before going to bed. Emily walked slowly into the kitchen, and that's when she saw it. A napkin, sitting alone on the counter. There was a drawing on it, a rocket, crude, childlike, and at the bottom, 2 familiar words, "Don't go." The Carters moved out 3 months later. They never explained why, but the property manager later mentioned something unusual. Every tenant who had lived in apartment 4E reported strange disturbances around the same time of night. Soft footsteps, a quiet humming sound, and once a child's voice whispering from the hallway. Not crying, not angry, just confused, like someone searching for something or someone. Today, the apartments are still occupied. Most residents have never heard the story of Ridgewood Memorial Hospital. Most of them sleep peacefully every night. But every now and then, someone in apartment 4E wakes up suddenly at exactly 3:17 a.m. And for just a second, they swear they hear something in the hallway. Small footsteps, bare feet on the floor, walking slowly toward a door that used to belong to room 407.